Hey, what is up guys? Hasib here and welcome to my channel. As we all know, the smartphones these days are getting better and better. From 120Hz displays, outstanding performance to 108 megapixel cameras. But all of these perks do come with a heavy price. Flagship phones are getting more costly day by day, making it hard to get a decent phone as a person who cannot afford them. And that is what this video is about. Here is my list of 5 budget smartphones that you can buy in 2020 that would make a great deal for your money. Make sure to give this video a like, a subscribe to my channel for more amazing content to come in the future. First up, we have the Xiaomi Redmi Note 7. This phone keeps the design language of most of the phones that came out last year in 2019. The build quality is decent as it comes with Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on both front and back. The sides are made out of plastic, but don't worry about that, the phone still looks great and is built solid. On the front of the phone, we have a 6.3 inches Full HD LCD display with a resolution of 1080 by 2340 pixels and 409 pixels per inch pixel density. The colors are quite decent and accurate, but not so amazing when you compare it with the OLED displays out there. The screen does get bright outdoors, but not that much. There is a rear-mounted fingerprint scanner on the back, and you probably know how fast the sensors of the Chinese phones are. It recognizes the fingerprint quite instantly. Talking about the internals, the phone comes with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 660 processor. Games run smoothly on this phone without any lag. With 4GB RAM and 128GB internal storage, the phone gives a smooth experience. It also has an external SD card slot to expand the storage. It comes with Android 9.0 Pie with MIUI 11 skin on top. I personally prefer stock Android, but MIUI still looks decent. Xiaomi Redmi Note 7 with its dual camera setup gives average to good photographs. With its 48 megapixel main camera and 5 megapixel secondary depth sensor camera, the photos are quite sharp in daylight and gives good saturation. Whereas it also has a night photography mode which can give a good photography at night as well. It is also able to capture 1080p videos at 30 and 60 fps. The best thing about this phone is its battery. There is a 4000 mAh battery inside of it and can easily last you a day with regular use. The numbers show that it has a 251-hour standby time and can give up to 7 hours constant gaming, and it comes with USB Type-C charger. The phone may cost you about $150 which is quite a value for the specs that we are dealing with. Secondly, we have the Motorola Moto G7. You can probably tell it's a Motorola phone just by looking at it. At first glance, the classical Motorola design can be seen with a circular camera bump with dual camera setup, glass on the back which is quite a fingerprint magnet. The overall build quality feels premium. Moto G7 comes with 4GB RAM and Snapdragon 632. Not the best specs you can find in smartphones right now, but you can run your work apps and social apps with no problem. The software on this Motorola phone will give you a stock Android experience with close to no bloatware at all, except a 1 or 2 Motorola apps that are pre-installed in this phone, which is a great call for all the stock Android lovers. Talking about the front, we have a standard 6.2 inches LCD display, which is covered by Gorilla Glass 3. With quite a huge teardrop notch and a chin, the overall screen-to-body ratio is great. With a resolution of 1080 by 2270 pixels and 403 pixels per inch density, the screen does not feel bad and is quite contrasty. Not just that, the screen also gets brighter outdoors than its Plus model. The phone comes with 64 gigs of built-in storage, but you still have the choice to expand it up to 512 gigabytes. The camera on Moto G7 is close to average. It has a 12 megapixel sensor of main camera and 5 megapixel depth sensor. They are not on par with the flagship phones of 2019 and 2020, but enough to take simple shots. When enough light reaches the sensor, you can get quite decent pictures with good dynamic range, but the low light performance is not great and the pictures start to get noisy and background blurs out when there is less amount of light reaching the sensors. The camera on this phone is able to record 1080p videos at 30 fps, and as expected from a budget smartphone, it does not support 4K videography. The phone has a 3000 mAh battery, which is okay for a phone like this, but do not expect it to last a whole day with heavy usage. But on the bright side, it does have 15 watt fast charging, which can charge the phone from 0 to 43% in half an hour and from 0 to 100 in about 1 hour and 32 minutes. The price of this phone ranges from $110 to $130 and may vary according to your supplier, but it is still quite a reasonable price for its quality. The third phone on this list is Samsung Galaxy A50. This phone has a 6.4 inches OLED display which is covered by Gorilla Glass 3. The back and the sides of this phone is made out of plastic, but of a really good quality, which feels good in the hand and is built solid. The colors on the back are attractive as it gives different shades if you look at it with different angles. The screen is not curved like the ones in the latest S-series phones, but the OLED panel does give great experience. The screen is 1080 by 2340 in resolution with 403 pixel density. The colors are contrasty and blacks are as dark as they can get. The screen has a small notch at the top, but with software that can also be hidden if you don't want it covering a portion of your screen. The phone is not water resistant, but that's not much of an issue. The phone comes with an in-display fingerprint scanner, but it is not as fast as the ones that are available in the market right now. There is an option of face unlock, but it is not as safe because your phone can also be unlocked using a clear picture of you placed in front of the camera. As the phone has an OLED display, there is also the feature of always on display which displays the time and your important notifications on the screen without using much of your battery. But on the other hand, it does not have a notification LED. Samsung Galaxy A50 comes with 128GB of built-in storage, but it can also be expanded with an SD card. The RAM on this phone is 4GB, which is standard for a phone like this. Your everyday apps and your games will run smoothly on this phone. The software on this phone is Android 9 Pie, which is powered by an Exynos 9610 chipset. It comes with Samsung Custom Skin One UI. The skin isn't as close to the stock Android, but it isn't complex either. The interface is quite easy to use. Coming up towards the camera, Samsung Galaxy A50 has a triple camera setup with 25 megapixel main camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide and 5 megapixel depth sensor. In daylight, the camera takes great pictures with good contrast and colors. The default pictures are taken in 12 megapixel, but 25 megapixel shooting mode can be achieved by changing the aspect ratio of the images and changing some settings. They should have put the option right on the front for the easier access. The phone has an impressive battery life. With 4000 mAh battery, you can get 23 hours of talk time. With normal use, the battery can last up to 1.5 or even 2 days. This phone costs more than the previous discussed phones, but is still in the budget range. The phone comes at about $300 to $350. This phone is a very good option overall with great performance, an amazing OLED display and a decent camera setup. Next up, we have the Google Pixel 3a. We have seen the flagship phones from Google. The Pixel series lineup is quite competent with other flagship phones from other companies like Samsung, Apple and OnePlus. But just like these companies, Google also made a cheaper, smaller model of their flagship phone. That is the Google Pixel 3a, which is kind of like a mini version of the Google Pixel 3. The phone comes in two models, Pixel 3a and Pixel 3a XL, but we're only talking about the 3a. Talking about the build quality, it's not that attractive for most people who look for premium glass backs. It follows a simple and minimalistic design. Just like it's a Google device, you can expect the stock Android experience with no bloatware at all. It comes with Android 9.0 Pie, which is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 670 and 4GB RAM, which is a good setup for a mid-range phone. The storage option do come as 64GB, but as expected from a mid-ranger, there should have been an expandable storage option, but there isn't. But hey, good news, there is a headphone jack. Talking about the main thing that made this phone famous, the camera. It has a single camera on its back which is a 12.2 megapixel sensor which takes amazing photos. Even though it has a single camera, it is able to take portrait shots as well with the help of software. With good dynamic range and color correction, the photos turn out to be sharp and contrasty. On the other hand, the video taken from this camera are good as well. Pixel 3a is able to take 2160 in 30fps videos and 1080p videos at 30, 60 and 120 fps. Google Pixel 3a has a 3000 mAh battery which can last up to a whole day with average use, and on constant screen on time is about 4 to 5 hours. Google Pixel 3a is a good option for having a good phone without compromising the important stuff. The phone will cost you about $399 US. The only problem is that this phone isn't available all around the world, which makes it harder for people to buy it. Last one on the list is the brand new iPhone SE 2020. The most awaited phone of 2020 up till now was the iPhone SE. This was a $400 phone which was made by a company which is not used to making cheap phones. But that's what this video is all about. The new iPhone does not look like a brand new phone at first glance. This iPhone has the body of an iPhone 8, the chipset of iPhone 11, and a new camera setup. With its A13 Bionic chip, it is on par with all of the latest flagship phones right now. The phone would feel small on the hand as the phones these days have huge screens. The huge forehead and chin are back along with the classical Touch ID. The only visible difference is that the Apple logo has now been shifted a bit lower to match the new iPhone 11 series. The screen on the new iPhone isn't as new. It's the same LCD display that came in years ago with the iPhone 8. Overall, the screen is great, but it doesn't get as bright outdoors. Talking about the performance of the phone, it's more than amazing with the latest chip that is installed in this phone. Everything runs smoothly without any problem. As it has the latest software and the latest chipset, software updates will continue to come for a long time. So iPhone SE might be the longest living and most up-to-date phone at a $400 price range even after a year or two. Apple doesn't officially reveal how much the battery capacity of their phone is, but this phone lasts a whole day without any problem, all thanks to the LCD display and the efficient chipset. Moreover, it also has a wireless charging option. Now moving on to the camera is nearly as good as the one on the iPhone 11, but of course minus the triple camera setup. This phone only has a single camera which is able to take amazing photos. The photos get better when enough light is given to it, but there isn't any night mode on this phone, which I think Apple should have considered. The video taken from this phone are hands down the best video you can take on any smartphone of this price range. It is able to record 4K videos at 30 FPS, which do take more storage but are very high quality videos. The base storage of the phone is 64 gigs for $399, but for 128 gigs model, you'd have to pay $50 extra. This phone checks all the necessary boxes for a good phone and keeps the other option on a decent level, which is a great deal. This rounds up today's video. Thank you, and I hope this video helped you in making the choice of which phone to buy in this price range. Make sure to give this video a like, a subscribe would be massively appreciated. And that is it for today. See you guys in the next one. Allah Hafiz.